All right, now we're running these rules. This meeting is, we use the simplified Robert's Rules of Order. Just want to remind everyone that we need to be civil to each other. And please don't talk to each other. Stay muted unless you have something to say and until the chair recognizes you. Okay, just what I will try to do, I better get my participants up here. Is there anybody that doesn't know how to raise your blue hand? That's how I know that you need to speak. Anybody not know how to do that?
I do not know how to raise my blue hand.
Okay, Campbell, yeah, let's see here. Go at the bottom of the screen, click on the little thing that says participants. Okay. And then that'll bring up a column on the right side of the screen. And then down at the bottom right-hand side of that, it says raise hand.
Okay.
And then Sam, when somebody, I've recognized somebody and they finish speaking, could you please lower their blue hand for them if they forget to do it? That way we'll be able to keep things in order. Okay, please don't talk over each other. Hopefully there won't be any problems with people being uncivil or out of order. I will offer one warning, and if I have to warn you a second time, I'll ask the co-host to remove you from the meeting. Janet, do you want to call the roll first, or do we?
I will call the roll. So I'll go through board members first, and then we'll call the guest roll as well. So Steve Mullinex, Vice President.
Yeah, here.
First, great. Sam Pearson.
He's here.
He's here. Teddy O.
Here.
Janet Hawkins, myself, I'm here. Arnold Creek, Katie Daly.
Present.
Ash Creek, Bruce Kester.
Here.
Bridal Mile, Becky. I saw Becky here just a moment ago.
Becky is here. Yeah.
Becky's here. Okay, great. Fran Laird.
Here.
Tony Hansen.
Here.
George Branos. See George, he's there. Right. Kendall Kick.
Here.
Tatiana.
Here.
Great, thank you. Jackie.
Here.
Great. Do we have Claire Carter from Maplewood?
Here.
Great, thank you, Claire. Markham, Eric Lavaki. No, we'll come back. Marshall Park, Michelle Campbell.
Here.
Thank you. Multnomah, Maria.
Here.
Great. South Burlingame, Shannon Hiller Webb.
Hi, yes, and for any matter that I'm unable to participate in for South Burlingame representation, Carol Porto will be in my place for any conversation.
Okay, thank you. Anna Friedhoff, South Portland. Anna's not here yet. Charlie Van Rossen.
Speaking.
Great, thank you. Debbie Hall, West Portland.
Here.
Hi, Debbie. Equity and Inclusion Committee Chairs, Diane Victoria. Not yet.
Diane wasn't feeling well Monday, so she may not be able to make it.
Okay, I'll put a question mark. Parks and Recreation, I think Leslie Pohl. Leslie, you're here for Mike Lindman.
Yes, I am.
Great, thank you. Safety Committee, Kim Silverman.
Here.
Great. Schools Committee, Patty McMahon.
Here.
Transportation, Catherine Christensen.
I am here.
Oh, you're here. Great. Thank you, Catherine. Watershed, Murphy.
Hi.
Great. Hi. And Hillsdale, Don Bach.
Business professional present.
Thank you. And I think the person we're missing, Markham, Eric Lavaki, I have him absent. And at this point, it sounds like we also are going to be missing Diane Victoria. So for our guests, and I just checked the list, Laura Campos is here, Lee Buhler is here, Marie Tyval, Mike Charles, and Carol Porto. Is there anyone else who, as a participant? that I didn't
Gary
call yet?
Runge,
Gary, thank you.
land
And
use.
great. And then we have Ron Burian is here with Maplewood.
Just a visitor.
Just a visitor. Okay, you're not representing Maplewood tonight then.
That's
No,
Claire.
Claire is.
Claire's here. Okay, great. Okay. I think that's it. Is that for our guest? Is anyone else a guest that I haven't called? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
You need to unmute, Steve.
I don't think Carol Porto has joined us yet. I don't see her on the list or in the screen.
I do.
Okay. Oh,
He's on the list.
okay.
Yes, I am here, but
Okay.
Rob Lennox is also here, and I believe he'll be representing South Burlingame if Shannon has to step away.
Oh, okay.
Let's get clarity on that, please.
Rob, are you there?
He wasn't at
Yes,
roll
I'm-
call, so I didn't see him. That's why I elected Carol. So either one of you can step in if I have to bow out for any conversation.
So let's just be clear on who that's going to be.
Do you want me to elect someone? I mean, it's Rob as the alternate.
Okay.
No,
thank you.
I'm fine. I'm fine
Okay.
doing it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, so let's have a look at the agenda. Do you want to display that, Sylvia?
Sure. Oops. Hold on. There we go.
Okay, let's have a look at the agenda, see if there's any additions or corrections. And I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve?
I got a motion from Sam. Is there a second?
I second.
Uh,
Jackie.
Jackie seconds. Thank you. Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda as written? Do you want to go through the, is that, we do with that?
I
with the
think we can
voice?
just do it. I think we can do it by voice.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
hi.
All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, agenda's approved as written. Okay, so time for the president's report. Okay, and the only thing we have from Leslie is an update on the donations. Is that right, Celia?
Yes, you might explain that Leslie's excused tonight.
Yes, Leslie is excused. She was in a car accident yesterday and she wasn't badly injured, as I understand. She is feeling a bit out of sorts though and didn't feel up to chairing the meeting this evening. And I think some people have had some contact with her that, I don't know, is there anybody that has had contact want to add anything to that? Okay. All right. Anyway, so we have a report on donations. The total for October to date is just shy of $8,400. And we have a pledge, another email that another $1,000 in checks was mailed to us today. Okay, so we would be at about $9,400 for the month of October in donations.
Which is wonderful.
Yes, and to all of you who have made those donations or have requested that people in your neighborhoods or the neighborhood associations themselves make those donations. Thank you very much, and please continue to make those requests because we need it. Okay. All right, first vice president. Okay, the main thing I want to bring you up to speed on is the with respect to the Legal Affairs Committee, and that is specifically the progress on the examination that the city is doing of Southwest neighborhoods. I'll just remind everyone that we are aiming to make the examiner's job as easy as we can, showing full transparency and cooperation with the audit process. The first round of document production and delivery was on time on October 9th. And there's an amazing amount of hard work by staff to complete that transmittal of the documents, and great teamwork there. So we all owe them a great thank you for that. Through our attorney, Simon Wang, appropriate treatment was negotiated for any documents deemed confidential or privileged. Marsh Minnick has requested an additional but much less extensive round of documents, and staff is working to comply with that request. Marsh Minnick has also been conducting interviews. Many of the interviews were done through October 16th, and they're likely they have a few left to do. From what Marsh Minnick has requested and what SWNI has delivered, I presume that the information gathering phase of the examination is nearing completion. That's my presumption. I don't have a specific heads up from them to that effect. Still to be done, they have to complete their forensic analysis, and depending that the effort they will put into that depends on the information that they've gotten from the documents and from the interviews. Then they will need to prepare a concluding report for Civic Life, provide it to Civic Life, and from at that point, City Council needs to review that examination, those results, and vote to restore our funding. And for the completion of that report and the when City Council will vote, I cannot make any reasonable estimate. Sylvia, did you want to add something there? You muted yourself.
Oops. Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Okay, everything, I think you covered it.
Okay. Good. All right. So next up. Okay, yes, we have a motion here to appoint Kim Silverman to the Legal Advisory Committee. Okay.
Second that motion.
Sam seconds. Thank you very much. And that's what it says. Okay, any discussion? Okay, want to call a roll on that, Janet?
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
I will.
Oh,
Mr.
oh,
Chair.
oh,
This is Don.
I see Don, yes.
I'd like to suggest that we basically try to do voice votes unless there's objection and then go to the roll call.
Okay. All right. Anybody object to doing a voice vote on this one?
I do. Jackie does.
Jackie, okay, we'll do a roll call, please, Janet.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Motion to approve and appoint Kim Silverman to the legal committee. Sam Pearson,
Yes.
Teddy O,
Yes.
Janet Hawkins, I'm a yes. Katie Daly,
I have a point of information. Did this motion come from the legal committee or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're offering this as the chair of the legal committee, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
thank you. Bruce Kester,
Yes.
Becky Lilliquist.
Becky had to drop off for a little bit.
Oh,
She-
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Fran Laird,
Yes.
Tony Hansen,
Yes.
George Branos,
Yes.
Kendall Kick,
Yes. Oh.
thank you. Yeah. Tatiana,
Yes.
Jackie Phillips,
Yes,
Claire Carter, Claire, you may be muted.
I abstain because I have absolutely no idea who Kim Silverman is or what, why she should be appointed. That's fine with me.
Okay, so you're abstaining. Thank you. Eric Lavaki has not joined us yet. Michelle Campbell,
I also abstain just because I don't know anything about this. I mean, I've kind of brief fill in, but I'd rather just abstain until I know.
thank you. Maria Timai,
yes,
okay. Shannon Hiller Webb,
I abstain. I'm not certain for the reason or rationale behind another person being appointed to the committee.
Anna Friedhoff. Is Anna with us?
I don't think Anna is here yet.
Okay, no, Anna. Okay, Charlie Van Rossen,
An emphatic yes, because Kim is an attorney and it kind of helps to have an attorney on your legal team.
great, thank you. Debbie Hall, oh, it looks like Debbie Hall left, is that right? No, no Debbie, okay. Diane Victoria is still not with us, is that correct?
I don't see her.
Okay, Gary Rundy
Yes.
and Leslie Paul,
I will abstain because I have not followed this action.
okay. Kim Silverman,
Abstain.
Patty McMahon,
Yes.
Patty, great, thank you, Patty.
Mhm.
Catherine Christensen,
yes,
thank you. Murphy,
Yes.
great. Don Bach,
Yes.
great. And we have 5 abstentions. I have 18 yeses. Is that what you have, Sylvia?
Yes.
Okay, great. So motion passes, 18 yeses, 5 abstentions. Thank you.
Debbie just said that her internet went down. She's trying to log back on. Did we lose Steve?
Okay, thank you. Was there some action that we need to take on that? Okay,
Motion passed.
motion carried. Thank you. And now we're moving on to the treasurer's report.
Okay. Teddy?
Yes. Okay, so concerning the treasurer's report, on September 30th, we had about, well, does anyone have any questions? Or I really don't want to just read it, but I can. In short, we had about 59,000 in our accounts at the end of September versus a cash flow projection of 54K. We're able to keep our expenses down, and our income was higher due to some reimbursement and some higher than expected donations. And as of this time, we're expecting about, well, as of the writing of this report, we were expecting about 5,000 in donations for October. And thank you for everyone's contributions. Then we'll go to the board.
Do you want me to bring up the balance sheet or anything, or go to the cash flow?
If anyone has any questions on it, we can bring it up. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, sounds like there are no questions, so.
Do you want me to show the cash flow projection now or your report?
Let's show the report.
Okay.
So as stated previously, we had about the cash flows beginning in October, we show about 54K in the account. Actually, show the cash flow projections.
Oh, okay. Can everybody see that? Is it big enough?
Steve, can you check if anyone has their hands up?
Oh, I don't see any hands up.
Okay.
Can you go to the bottom line?
Yeah. Let's see. Make it smaller. Can you see it? Can you see the bottom line now?
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay. If there are no questions, I'll just go at a high level. So at beginning of October, we go with a beginning balance of about 54K and a projected ending balance of
32.
And this 54K includes the approximately 10,000 in the board restricted accounts. We're anticipating receiving about 4,300 more in projected donations for November and December. In addition to all of our good news in terms of donations, we've requested a rent deferment, which will cover the months of September through December. So that's about 4 months of rent, which gives us a little bit more operating room in terms of meeting our projected financial needs through December. And as you can see in this chart or in this state cash flow projections, we're about $1,700 short on having it fully funded through the end of this calendar year. And the major call outs will be the accrued vacation, which currently sit at about $7,500 in accrued vacation. And the deferred rent I spoke about earlier runs about $3,900, which would be the rents from September through December. And our requests would result in us having to pay back that deferred rent by March 31st. So that equates to a total sort of projected liability of $11,400.
Got a couple questions up, Teddy.
Go ahead.
Don?
Yeah, I'm back here. Teddy, let me translate this to what I understand you're telling me. If I look at December 31, it's minus 1745. That's the cash flow that we will be short on operating expenses, but we would have an obligation to pay accrued vacation of 7,500 beyond that. And if we chose to pay the rent of 3,884, am I correct in assuming what I've got that right?
Yeah. So yes. In
Okay.
short, yeah. So that liability still stays there, right?
So you know, in other words, setting this bluntly, if we shut down 12/31, we, the board, would need to make up around $10,000 because of the accrued vacation and the ending balance. I wouldn't particularly worry a bit about the rent.
Oh, I'm not worried. I wouldn't worry much about the rent either.
So we're a good shot of getting through December.
Right.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to remind people, so Teddy, you might have come in late, but we did have more donations and we just got those today on PayPal. Only drops, gives us our amount once a month. And so today we found out we actually have more in donations. So right now, we know that we had $8,397 for October. So that's almost, another $4,000 that we took in October that we weren't anticipating.
So we're basically 6,000 shy by the end of December.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Katie has her hand up as well.
Yes, and we've just about covered. I had 3 questions. My first one was about the accrued vacation. And since it is a liability, where does it show or what is going to be the timing on payment of that liability of $7,900 and change? I think Dawn said it was going to be the end of December, but only in the event of closing. Is there some other timing for that liability on payment?
As long as they're still operating, go ahead, Sylvia.
So that's the accrued vacation as of October 15th.
Right.
What the next meeting, though, that we have is on November 18th. We're meeting the 3rd Wednesday of the month because of the holidays in November. So actually, we have only a little over a couple of weeks before we can check in again as a board to see how we're doing on our fundraising. And that's what I think that the Exec and Finance Committee was thinking, is that in November on that 18th meeting, we take a hard look at how much money we've raised and if we can make it through December. So to answer your question though, Katie, if we were to let people go, you have to pay your accrued vacation then, right then.
Right, but we've made no decision as a board to let anybody go yet. So that's just lunching out there. Okay, thank you. And my second question was, of course, when we discussed that the fundraising effort has been more successful than this cash flow projection shows, with 4,300 for October, and you're saying it's actually 8,400. And so the 2,500 each month going out hasn't been adjusted for possibly getting as much as we're going to in a short period of time and maybe not in the future. I just wanted a sense of that. My last question is the $10,377. I keep seeing on these projections that it is taking that into account, but yet it's still sitting on the balance sheet, even though the board passed a motion to allow for transfer of that money into the operations account. So I'm wondering what the timing or the holdup is on that, Teddy.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Yeah, so if you remember, we voted that in. I covered this in my report, but we voted to move that money from restricted to operations on September 23rd. So this is,
Right.
this report was done for September. So in October, our balance sheet will show that we've actually moved the money.
So we have moved it.
Yeah, it'll show up in our October financials.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Donna, you have another question? Okay, go ahead, Teddy.
Okay. Any other, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Now,
Steve,
Sam?
this hasn't been brought up yet, but the Finance Committee met and more or less approved that we remain at the 25% section of our workforce
Right.
as a reduction. So we would be working at 75% capacity. So I would like to make that motion that we approve that we maintain the 75% staff level through November, and we review that at our November 18th meeting.
Okay, and that implies that we would still have that December would be a 50% reduction unless we make a change in, based on donations or something. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, Janet, do you have that motion?
I do have that motion. Is there a second?
Do we hear a
Is there a
second?
Well, I'll second it.
John Bach, second. I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Oh, Patty seconded. I got Patty. Thank you,
Okay.
Patty.
Discussion. See, Don, you have your hand up. Is that from
Yes.
before? Okay, yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
no, it's a new one. I just want to make sure I understand. What impact does that have on the cash flow, Teddy, roughly? I don't want to nickels and dimes, but what roughly are we talking about in terms of cash flow?
For what month?
Well, if we're going to move to November, it would be one more month of 75% over 50%. If I understand this correctly.
The impact of that is shown in that November column.
You've already put it in there.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next, Katie has a question.
Yeah, I'm confused. Since the board already, maybe it's just a clarification I need. Since the board had already voted, well, discussed and voted a reduction of 25%, why are we having a motion now to retain the 25% reduction? I mean, wouldn't that just hold until we pass a motion for something different?
Yeah, the change, Katie, is that we voted to reduce to 50% starting in November. So the change is we only would reduce by 25% in November.
Oh, I guess I didn't remember that. I thought it was 25% until we changed our minds later. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions. So let's vote.
Janet? Let me read the motion. Sam Pearson moved that SWNI maintain 75% staffing level through November and review at the November 18th meeting, continuing on decision on staffing for December percentage. And Patty McMahon seconded.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Sam Pearson,
Yes.
yes. Teddy O,
Yes.
Janet, I'm a yes. Katie Daly,
I'm abstaining on this one.
Bruce Kester,
Yes.
and Becky left the call. Is that right, Sylvia?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Fran Laird,
Yes.
great. Tony Hansen
Yes.
and George Branos,
Yes.
Kendall Kick,
Yes.
okay. Tatiana,
Yes.
Jackie Phillips,
Yes.
Claire Carter, hi Claire, is Claire still on the call?
Checking.
Sorry, that's a yes.
Okay, thank you, Claire.
I tried to
Michelle,
Muted.
okay, thanks Claire.
Yes.
Michelle, yes, thank you. Maria,
Yes.
and we have Shannon Hillerweb.
Yes.
And Anna still has not joined us, is that correct?
I don't see her.
Okay, Charlie Van Rossen,
Sure, why not?
okay, thanks. And has Debbie joined us? Is Debbie back on the call?
Yes.
Yay.
Good. Thank you. And Diane Victoria has not joined us, is that correct?
No.
Okay. Leslie Paul, excuse me, Gary Rundy. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary Rundy.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Leslie,
Yes.
Kim Silverman, do we have Kim on the call?
Yes.
Patty McMahon,
Yes.
Catherine Christensen,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
and Don Bach.
Yes.
Great. And Sylvia and I'll count votes. I have 24 yeses. Sylvia, do you have 24 yeses?
Yes.
Okay.
And one
Motion,
abstention.
one abstention. So motion passes.
All right, thank
A no
you.
vote, right?
Sorry, didn't hear that.
There's, what's our total count now for votes? Is
I have 25.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on now to Sylvia's Executive Director report.
Okay. I think I'm done here for that. So I think we covered a lot of this. I did want to just check back in. We offered the Workshare Oregon program to all employees. We had 4 that are participating. And we've submitted at least 3 weeks worth of payroll, and folks received their first check last week. So everything else should be in line and coming in on time. It is, I just want to remind people that in order to participate in the Workshare Oregon program, the reduced hours need to remain between the 20% and 40%. So if we were to go to that 50%, the Workshare Oregon program, we wouldn't qualify. So I just wanted to let people know. I see Shannon has a raised hand.
Hi, question. I think when we voted on the staff reductions, it was considered across the board staff reductions at a specific level. And I'm trying to understand, is that being complied with all staff members? Are there exceptions to like
No,
yourself?
right now we're complying with all staff members.
So you and Nancy are also working at 25% reduction?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah. And I will just say that, during document production, we had volunteers. come in, so that helped a little bit. But yes, we are complying with that. And then we covered the audit. In your email tonight, Corey just published our, oops, that should say November news. So the news publication came out tonight, and we received a lot of feedback on the new format. Some folks had difficulty understanding how to click on it to open it. So we gave some additional guidance in the news tonight when you receive it in your email. Most people had a little bit of trouble figuring out how to zoom in and out. New this month too, though, is that people can download it as a PDF, and then that should be easier if you're getting it on your phone. The format also allows you to click on any of those links now, and it takes you right to websites or produces an email so you can contact someone. And also Sharon worked with Corey on the account that we have so that Sarah can easily click on an article and post it to Facebook or other social media. So that's a pretty cool feature. Did I see somebody had a raised hand?
I think Jackie and myself do.
Okay, Jackie?
I see this written report. I know, I thought I'd seen it before, but I couldn't find it in the board folder. So
It's in the last one, last one in the board folder.
well, when do you, it wasn't there when I checked at 5. Wait,
Nope.
did I just overlook it?
No, it's probably got it in there around 5:30.
Okay, okay.
Sorry about that.
That's
the
okay.
best I can.
Just checking.
Sylvia,
I
what's
didn't know, I
the,
just thought I was going the wrong place.
Nope.
Okay, thanks.
what's the distribution number for electronic newsletters, and what's the click rate?
So I think we're close to 1,000. I was told that the click rate is around 1,056 from the last issue, and we'll find out from this time.
Is that unique
Sharon-
impressions on articles, or is like that open rate for the newspaper itself?
I think the newspaper itself was 1,056.
Okay.
And Sharon and Corey worked on it so that I can get better statistics next month. So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you include that in your report then? That would be awesome.
yeah, I did include it here. The current count for electronic news was 1,056.
Right, the click-through rate would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and then I also wanted to point out that Sharon renewed our grant for Microsoft Azure, and that's hosting our Nancy's remote web desktop for the books, our GIS remote desktop stations, cloud backups. So that's a really an important grant. And then in the November publication, we also featured how our Watershed Resource Center is doing. They had a number of events in Southwest this month. A plant sale in cooperation with Neighborhood House that raised about $1,500 for the youth programs at Neighborhood House for underrepresented folks. And also they did a planting here at the Multnomah Arts Center with over 200 native plants that were put in the ground. And we have one more Stormwater Stars program in South Portland Neighborhood Association. If you click on the Stormwater Stars, you can register for that event. And grants, I just wanted to say too that, you know, we announced last month that we have an extended deadline. And we do have, Laura made progress on her Beaver Festival. There'll be a posted video coming soon so people can see that. So that's our first grant project that's making progress. That's all I got, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. All right, next is committee reports. We have a joint motion from Equity and Inclusion Committee and the Parks Committee to ask the city of Portland to waive park fees for Native organizations using the parks. Who's going to move that? Is that Laura?
I can do that. I'm still on the Equity Committee.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
So we contacted Amanda just to give her a heads up. She and Tim Creo are really excited, and and working on it already at Parks. So we just need a letter from the board authorizing us to, send it to city council and get the whole ball going. Are there any
Yeah.
questions or?
I just wanted to say to the SWNI Parks and Community Centers Committee, fully supported this action item.
That's correct. We had a discussion and then we voted to support it.
Thanks, Leslie.
And we've gotten really good response from the Native community so far. They're just wanted to wait and see, have this passed, and then next month is Native American History Month, so we'll really take it around to all the different activities that are scheduled and get a lot of support.
Okay, any discussion? I see Don's hand is up.
Gotta make sure you have unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I support this fully, but I think it's too narrow. I think we should really ask for some criteria that basically would include any other organizations. For example, small organizations in Southwest Portland that might like to use the park for things. I know in Hillsdale, we've basically supported, let them use the neighborhood ticket for parks like Smile, which is an organization that it just seems to me we should broaden our thinking a bit and say this and any other related or associated or similar organization. Thank you.
Can I speak to that? Hello?
Yes, Laura, do please.
Oh, well, the trouble is I've pretty much been doing this all on my own. And, when we broaden things, that means a whole lot of more Zoom meetings. I'm already doing about 4 a week in terms of the Native community. So I don't see myself really able to do any more than that. And we need to move on this because Amanda is no longer going to be Parks Commissioner after this year. So we have a tight turnaround, but I think we could use it as a precedent and then do further work on, expanding it next year.
Thank you, Katie.
I couldn't find my unmute button. There it is. Yeah, I'm with Laura on this. I think they've put a lot of effort into it. And while Don, brings up a good point, I think it's important to get this thing cemented. So I would go ahead and call the question and call the vote.
Okay, we still have hands up for discussion. Is there a second to call the question?
This is Murphy. I second.
Yeah, second.
Okay, well, should we do a voice vote for that?
Yes.
Anybody object to a voice vote to call the question?
It requires 2/3.
It requires 2/3. Yeah, so we have to count. Janet, you want to count?
Okay. So motion to call the question. Okay, Sam Pearson,
Yes.
Teddy O,
Yes.
Janet is a yes. Katie,
Yes.
Bruce,
I think I'll abstain.
okay. Fran Laird
Yes.
and Tony Hansen,
Yes.
George Branos
Yes.
and Kendall
Yes.
and Tatiana.
No.
Okay, Jackie
Yes.
and Claire
Yes.
and no Eric Levaki. Michelle Campbell.
Yes.
Maria
Abstain.
and Shannon
Yes.
and Charlie
Yes.
and Debbie is gone.
No, Debbie.
Nope, I'm here. I'm a yes.
Oh, Deb, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, thank you. And Diane Victoria is gone. And we have Gary Grundy.
Yes.
Okay, Leslie Paul
Yes. Yes.
and Kim Silverman.
Yes.
Okay, Patty McMahon
Yes.
And Catherine Christensen.
Yes.
Okay, and Murphy Terrell.
Yes, emphatic yes.
Okay, and then Don Bach.
No,
I'm sorry, say no.
no, I think people ought to have a chance at least to speak once to it.
Okay, so Sylvia and I will count votes.
I have 20 yes, 2 abstention, 2 no's.
That's what I have too. Thank you. Motion passes. Call the question.
Okay, well, then call the roll for the motion itself.
Okay, let me read the motion. The motion is the SWNI Board and SWNI Parks and Community Centers Committee supports the request of the SWNI Equity and Inclusion Committee to coordinate with the Native American community of Portland to request in a letter addressed to Portland Parks Commissioner Amanda Fritz, Portland City Council members, and PPR Director Adina Long to waive park fees for Native American organization uses of Portland parks. So Sam Pearson.
Abstain.
Okay. Teddy O. Do we have
Come back to
Teddy?
me.
We'll come back to you. Okay. Janet is a yes. Katie?
Yes.
Bruce Kester?
I'm confused. I thought we just voted on that motion. What did we, what vote
That was
on?
to call that we called the question, meaning we decided to take the vote.
Okay,
on the
I
motion.
will continue to abstain.
Becky's off the call. Fran Laird?
Yes.
Tony Hansen?
Yes.
George Branos?
Yes.
Kendall?
Yes.
Okay. Tatiana?
I believe we should include other groups. I think this is exclusionary, actually. I can't support that.
So you are a no, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Jackie Phillips?
Yes.
Claire Carter?
Yes.
Michelle Campbell?
Yes.
Okay. Maria Timai?
I think Tatiana makes a good point. I'm going to say no unless we can include other groups as well.
Okay. Shannon Hiller Webb?
Yes.
Okay. And Charlie Van Rossen?
Yes.
Debbie Hall?
Yes.
And Gary Rundy?
Yes.
Leslie?
Yes.
And Kim Silverman?
I support this, but to avoid any potential conflict, because I'm a tribal member, I'm going to abstain.
Thank you. And Patty McMahon?
Yes.
Okay. Catherine Christensen?
Yes.
Okay. Murphy?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And Dawn?
I think this is a kind of case where we back ourselves into being biased with, not intentionally necessarily. I'm voting no.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Sylvia and I will count.
I didn't vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, Teddy.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What is a yes?
So I have 18 yeses, 3 noes, and 2 abstentions, or three abstentions. And Sylvia, what's your
Yes,
count?
that's correct.
Okay, so we have motion passes, 18 yeses, 3 noes, and 3 abstentions.
Yes.
Okay,
I had a question. Will Leslie be writing the letter?
Yes.
Great.
I will.
No, Leslie Hammond. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
good.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you for bringing that, Laura and Leslie. Okay, yeah, the next item on the agenda is the executive session. But is Simon Wang here? I don't think he is.
Who was that? I don't know what that was.
I don't know. Interesting incursion there.
I don't see Simon yet.
Leslie Poole's hands is up.
Okay,
That was for the last issue before we voted. I had something to say, but it's over, so never mind.
all right. Sylvia, what do you think we ought to do here?
I think we ought to move on to
Minutes?
the minutes.
Okay,
See how far we get.
okay. Can we
Sylvia,
make,
do you want to resend Simon the invitation to make sure he's got the correct Zoom information?
Yeah, let me put up first the oops. I think we're gonna show this. This is the document, right? No, is that right? Yes.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself then and try to reach Simon to see where he is.
Okay, thank you.
I'm right here.
So, oh, Simon's
Oh.
right there. Great.
Okay, never mind. Okay. So that means, thank you, Simon. We didn't see you until just now. Okay, so that means we're going to now go into executive session. Okay, and we'll, I think, first ask for Simon's, well, okay. We're going to go into executive session. So that means we're going to send all the guests to the waiting room. And Sam, can you do that, please? And also say, except please let
Sylvia, let me read who I have on the guests. So Laura Campos is a guest. Lee Buhler will stay because Lee is part of the legal committee. Marie Taiva.
Okay, we are recording. I'm admitting Laura and Will. Is everybody back from the waiting room?
Could you put the agenda up again, see where we are, please?
Sure, hold on a second.
Yeah, everybody's back.
Okay.
And Will joined us. Will wasn't on earlier. I think Will just joined us.
I was on at the beginning of the motion from the Equity and Inclusion Committee.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you, Will.
Okay. So we are coming out of executive session to convene. And I think we're waiting for Steve. We need to address this motion.
Okay, we're back in a regular session now.
Yes,
Recording has started and we need to vote on that motion to.
we need to hear the motion. officially.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I'll read the motion and let me get to my motion, and then I'm going to have a comment after the motion. Sorry, I want to get to the right. So before we vote on this, I know Shannon Hiller-Webb is on the call, and this presents a conflict of interest for Shannon as a board member, this next motion from the executive session.
I believe it's Rob Lennox who is the one.
Do you want to excuse yourself from this?
From the public vote?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Rob's going to be
This
the
is a-
representation for the public.
I think
vote.
it's sufficient for her to abstain.
Right, and Rob will be in my place for the public vote.
Okay, so you're an abstention. Rob is in your place for this vote. Okay. The motion.
It
to
can,
expand
it can be
Simon-
either an abstention, that means two people are voting.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry, that's not right. Rob
I'm
is
not an
voting,
abstention.
Rob is voting in place of Shannon.
Because if you ask her to vote, then I'm gonna have to give her advice on how to vote.
Okay,
I
we won't,
disclose the information,
we-
but
we
it
won't
makes more
ask,
sense that I just vote.
we won't ask her to vote. We'll ask Rob to vote instead. Okay,
Okay.
Janet?
Okay,
is
great.
that clear?
Okay, the
Yes,
motion is Sam Pearson moved to expand Simon Wong's agreement with SWNI to represent SWNI in the legal complaint 20 CV 35030 filed by Shannon Hiller Webb and Marie Tybal.
We need a second.
I second the motion.
Tatiana seconded. Okay.
Okay, I think we should go ahead and call a roll on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sam,
Yes.
Teddy,
Yes.
Janet is a yes. Katie,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
and Fran,
Yes.
and Tony Hansen,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Kendall,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Yes.
and Jackie,
Yes.
Claire, Carter,
I abstain.
and Michelle,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Rob,
So I apologize because you broke up on my end when you read the motion. Could you read it again?
yes, yep. Motion to expand Simon Wong's agreement with SWNI to represent SWNI in the legal complaint 20 CV 35030 filed by Shannon Hiller Webb and Marie Tybal.
I'll vote yeah with the restriction that I understand that it was a $15,000 cap on his fees.
That's not a part of the motion.
Could you please read the original motion that we're expanding then?
The original agreement with Simon.
Yeah, the motion that was passed by the board. If you're not gonna allow me to add that caveat, then.
Well, I don't
please.
have that right in front of me. That will take some time. We'll come back to you. Charlie, Ben Rossen,
Abstain.
and Debbie,
Yes.
and Gary Rundy,
Yes.
and Leslie, Paul,
Yeah.
Kim Silverman,
Yes.
Patty McMahon,
Yes.
Catherine Christensen, Murphy Terrell,
Yes.
and Don Bach.
Yes.
Great. So Rob, you're voting yes?
My vote is yes on the consideration that we're not to exceed $15,000 as communicated.
Well, that's not the motion in front of us.
So you're asking to expand a motion, so I'd like to know what we're expanding.
We're not
Expanding.
expanding anything.
We're expanding
Yes,
the
that's the
agreement,
motion.
the existing agreement. So
So could you-
Rob,
you
what is
please-
your vote?
Could you please explain what the existing agreement is then?
I want to stay here all night.
No, I don't want to stay here all night. I'm just curious. what-
Rob, the existing agreement is that he's defending SWNI with regard to the audit. And this motion is to expand his defense of SWNI to include the lawsuit filed by Shannon and Marie.
As I understand it, there's a limit to that monetary amount. So that's all I'm saying is that I'm yes, as long as that limit is $15,000.
That's
So
a
you can take it
separate
or leave it.
motion.
That's a separate motion.
You can take it or leave it. Just,
Yes or
you
no?
know,
Yes,
Yes,
no, or
no.
abstain.
So you've got three choices, Rob.
no, that's not the way this works. I can put considerations on how my vote is.
No, you cannot.
We're dealing
Well,
with the disruption.
Rob, there is, the consideration of dollar amount does not apply to this in that it's,
So I got a question. We had a second. Did we ever have discussion?
Yes, we did in the executive session.
Oh, but that's not a motion. That was a committee of whole.
Oh, Jesus.
So I just allow me to say that I'm yes, as long as it's not $15,000. You're still gonna pass. What's the big deal?
That's not the motion.
Fine.
Okay,
I vote
well,
no. I mean, basically, I vote no. You have not had discussion on this motion.
So you say
can
no,
do it.
that's it.
You will. You always do. So there was no discussion. I'm objecting to that. Steve, you can rule how you like. I'm sure
We're
the board
getting
will
into
pass.
disruption.
Sam, did you make a comment there?
Yes, we're getting into disruption.
Yes,
No, you're not
okay.
getting into disruption. There was no question on this motion. You went right to vote. I have a question, and that is, what was the original amendment? What do we amend? What are we tacking this onto, which was the original motion? Because I wasn't part of this, because I am not a representative of the board during those meetings.
All right, if you have insufficient, go ahead, Katie.
sorry, go ahead, Steve.
If you have insufficient information to make a vote on this, an abstention is fine.
Or no.
I'll vote no.
Or no. Rob
Okay.
votes no, is that correct?
Rob votes no. We have, Sylvia, we have 21 yes, 2 abstentions and 1 no.
Correct.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, and now we'll move on to the minutes from the August 26th meeting. Do you want to put that document up, Janet? Or Sylvia?
Sylvia, yeah, Sylvia will put up the minutes. So what
Steve,
you
just for a
have-
second,
Yeah,
I'm bowing out as a member. I'll let Shannon step in as a representative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Sylvia's posting up, there was an extended email communication in September about the August minutes. And so there was, Katie wrote a very detailed memorandum. And we also, as executive committee, also respond in detail. Do folks have questions about this document? It's been in the board file, I want to say, since about September 21st. So any questions, thoughts on this extended communication? Katie, do you want to speak to your points that you raised?
And I appreciate that the executive committee took my concerns seriously. And I think that we as board members, well, I think with this meeting is a perfect example of how we're slowing down and sticking to our agenda. And I really think that's great because it gives everybody some time to really think and be heard. I don't know how we're going to repair the record on the vote. But I'm sure, Steve, you've got some suggestions on how we can do that, because when we have a miscount vote, that we need to repair that.
That's possible to do, to repair that with another vote if there's a motion.
Well, I would have thought the executive committee would have brought that motion during this meeting. I think we're all kind of worn out now. It's after 9 o'clock. But I would move that at the next meeting, rather than kicking the can down and making it the last item, we make it the first item and we repair the record by calling that vote again.
Second.
So wait, Sam, do you have anything to add here?
Well, normally under circumstances, if there was a vote that resulted in a tie. Normal circumstances, the officer known as the president would make a remark and would be the deciding vote.
Understood.
Let Sam finish, please.
And as such, upon hearing this, that there was a tie vote, after the fact, it was made very clear in the executive meeting what went on, and a letter or a email went out with an explanation with your comments, and Leslie made a clear statement written down and everything that she would have voted to pass the recommendation that the rent be withheld. So you can either take the fact that she has made that public announcement and she would have broken the tie, or you can re-vote. But it's a board decision.
Well, go ahead.
That's where I am at.
You have a motion and a second. Is this the part of the discussion?
Okay, I think what I would like to do, I can't make a motion. If there were a motion,
There is.
Well, Katie made a motion and I
If-
seconded it.
okay, what was, I'm gonna, this is my discussion regarding that motion. If there were a motion to, which replicated the one in the previous meeting, we could vote on that tonight. That would be my preference.
You have a motion on the table right now.
I understand that. That's my discussion.
But I have a-
Is there further discussion?
Yeah, my hand is up.
Okay, go ahead, Shannon.
So I'm trying to understand the intent of this letter, because I believe we're trying to get through to a point where we're addressing the meeting minutes. And this is a very lengthy response from the executive committee that I don't see addresses the meeting minutes.
This is page
edit.
4 on this minutes. Sylvia, do you want to scroll down
Sure. You mean of the,
of the board memo?
okay.
So I'm just asking for clarification. Is this document meant to supplement the meeting minutes, or are there action items within this document around how we're going to edit the meeting minutes? I guess I'm just confused around the intent of this document and what we're looking at it for.
It's a response document to Ms. Daly's comments regarding the minutes. She had comments related to both the conduct of the meeting as well as the meeting record. So this extensive response relates to both the conduct of the meeting as well as the meeting minutes.
Right, so the purpose though, is it to edit the meeting minutes or to supplement the meeting minutes? How does this pertain to the meeting minutes? And
Katie
how we
has
move
made a
forward?
motion to revisit the vote on the rent moratorium. That's my understanding.
Okay, so the executive committee isn't making recommendations from this document at all. So there's nothing to act on with this document. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Hey, there's a motion on the floor. What is the motion?
My motion was to, since it's late and we're all tired, to push this to the first thing on the agenda for our next meeting, that we can repair the record by holding the vote again. So Steve, the only difference between your motion and my motion is you want to do it now and I want to do it next month.
So,
Let's do it now.
Steve,
Yeah, Don, go ahead.
yeah, I got a comment here. You know, this was a motion on an amendment. It had a 50-50 vote, it turns out, when they went back and looked at it. Leslie, she would vote in favor to make it majority. It subsequently was approved by the entire board to include it in the motion. So to me, going back, messing with this is a complete waste of time. You know, we've done it, it's on its way, let's get on with life.
I
Okay,
agree.
further discussion?
I agree with
I
Don.
agree also.
Okay, further discussion?
Well, I get that everybody's tired and they see this as a nuisance, but since we're under such scrutiny by the city, I just thought it was prudent that we should be as clean as possible. All those I's dotted and all those T's crossed. And if the board doesn't share my concern and what may appear a little fanatic at this point, I apologize.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Any other discussion? Okay, do you want to read the motion and call the roll, Janet?
Right. So Katie's motion was to table the vote to repair the record until next month's meeting.
Just withdrew the motion.
I think the crux of it was to put it at the head of the agenda of the next meeting.
To hold at the next meeting.
At the head of the agenda, to be at the first discussion point of the agenda.
Is that correct, Katie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Shannon seconded. So do you want to do a roll call on this, Steve?
Yeah, please read it one more time.
Okay, so motion to table the vote on the repair to the record to hold the vote at the meeting of the first of next month's agenda.
Okay, we'll do the roll call, please.
Sam?
I vote no because this is just a recommendation that is coming out. It has nothing to do with repairing the minutes as they are written to date.
Thanks. Teddy?
No.
Janet is a no. Katie?
Yes.
Okay. Bruce Kester?
I'm gonna abstain. This is
Okay. Fran?
No.
Tony?
No.
George? Is George still on the call? No, thank you. Kendall? Kendall?
No.
Is Kendall still? No, thank you. Tatiana?
No.
Jackie? Jackie Phillips? Is Jackie on the call? Okay, I'm not hearing from Jackie. Claire Carter?
I abstain. I wasn't at the meeting.
And Michelle Campbell? Is Michelle still on the call?
I am sorry, I didn't unmute. Yes, I'm also abstaining.
Okay, thank you. Maria?
No.
Shannon?
Yes.
And we have Charlie?
No.
Debbie?
No.
Diane's not here. Gary?
No.
Leslie Paul? I think
Abstain. I wasn't here.
abstention. Okay, thank you. Kim Silverman?
No.
Patty McMahon?
No.
Catherine Christensen? Sorry, Catherine, didn't hear.
No.
Thank you. Murphy
No.
and Dawn.
No.
Sylvia and I will count.
Well, she's counting. I move approval of the minutes.
I second.
Sylvia, I have 4 abstentions, 17 noes, and 2 yeses.
2 yes.
So-
2 yeses.
3 yeses. Katie and Shannon. I'm sorry, who was the other yes? I have Katie and Shannon. I have 2 yeses.
I only have 2 yeses and then abstentions.
I have 4
4. Yeah.
and 17 noes. Correct?
I have 17 no's.
Yes, okay,
That's
17
correct.
noes, motion is defeated.
Okay.
There was a motion
It's
to approve.
9:15. I've moved to adjourn.
There's a
There's a
motion.
motion on the table, and that is to approve the minutes, and it's been seconded.
And who made the motion?
Don.
Don,
This is gonna be
And Tatiana,
extensive
did you second
discussion.
that?
I did, yes.
Thank you.
Now, we have two sets of minutes, I think.
this is
We do.
this is for the August 26th minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Sam, do you approve the August 26 minutes?
Yes.
Teddy,
Yes.
myself, I'm a yes. Katie,
No,
Bruce,
Yes.
and Fran,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Kendall,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Yes.
Jackie. Jackie's not off. Claire,
I abstained, but you never called for discussion.
oh, okay.
Who went-
Okay, is there further well, no.
Michelle, I think you're an abstention as well. Weren't at the meeting.
Correct. Abstain.
Right, thank you. Maria
Yes.
and Shannon,
There was no discussion, no.
and Charlie,
Yes.
and Debbie,
Yes.
and Gary,
Yes.
and Leslie.
Abstain. I wasn't here.
Thank you. And Kim
Yes.
and Catherine, oh, sorry, Patty
Yes.
and Catherine Christensen. Oh, Kim, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thanks. And Patty got a yes. And then Catherine?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And Murphy
Yes.
and Don.
Yes.
Yeah, motion passes.
Motion passes September
Move to
23rd
adjourn.
minutes. So there's a motion to adjourn. Is there a
Move
second?
to
Second.
adjourn.
second.
Okay. Discussion?
I moved, I disagree. Let's go on and improve the final
Yeah.
minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to do a voice vote on that, Steve? I
Let's
think
do
we
it. Let's try a voice vote, see how it goes. Okay, all in favor of adjourning? Say
Yes.
aye.
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 Oh,
I
No. Okay, all opposed to adjourning, say no.
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 I can't tell.
why don't we just go through the second set of minutes?
No, you have a motion. We have to do something with the motion. Okay?
Can you
Shannon,
hold your hand up in front of your face and we'll
let's
count?
do that. Yeah, yeah. All
Not
in
everyone's on
favor?
video.
There is
Yeah,
a,
yeah. I think we'd have to,
what?
I think we're gonna have to do a voice vote. Everybody's not on video.
Okay. Voice vote, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, in support of the motion to adjourn, yes or no? Sam,
No.
Teddy,
No.
Janet is a no. Katie,
Oh, yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
and Fran,
No.
and Tony,
No, we've been on this long. No.
George,
Yes.
and Kendall.
No.
Thanks. Tatiana,
No.
Jackie is not on the call anymore. Claire Carter,
Yes.
and Michelle Campbell,
yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Shannon.
Yes.
Okay, and Charlie
No.
and Debbie
No.
and Gary
No.
and Leslie,
No.
Kim Silverbit,
Oh,
and Patty
No.
and Catherine
No.
and Murphy
No.
and Don Bach.
No.
Okay, take a minute to count.
We bring the minutes up while they're looking.
So I have 7 yeses and 16 nos. Sylvia, what do you
What I
have?
have.
Yeah. Motion is defeated.
Okay, Sylvia, can you put the minutes up?
Yep. These are with Katie's edits. She had just some minor typos and grammar,
Yeah, very, very good
but they've already been
catches.
incorporated.
Yeah,
I
they're all-
put a Word document that.
Yeah, they're
shows them.
incorporated.
This is Don Bach. I move approval.
Tony second.
Moved
I'm
and
sorry, who
seconded.
Was that
Okay.
Tony who seconded?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. So approval of the minutes, vote yes if you approve.
Let's have some discussion, Janet.
Okay.
Any
Just a
corrections or
quick
additions?
clarification that,
September 23rd.
right, I just wanted a confirmation that the 2 spelling errors and the 1 clarification are in here. If we're not going to scan through it, just tell me that they were and. I'll
Yeah,
be-
here, Katie, this is with your edits.
So you accepted them? I can just take your
Yeah, I just
representation.
accepted them all.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
You do a
Uh,
voice, please.
Voice vote to approve the minutes.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? I don't hear any no's.
I move we adjourn.
Wait,
Oh, we need abstentions.
We get abstentions.
Abstain.
Okay, that was Leslie Pohl abstained. Anybody else abstain?
That was Campbell abstained.
Campbell. Okay, thank you.
Any others? 2 abstentions, Leslie and Michelle. Okay. Janet, the
Motion
verdict
passes.
is?
Motion
Okay.
passes.
All right.
Minutes are approved.
I would entertain now a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I move to adjourn.
Okay. It's been moved and did I hear a second?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
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 If there's anybody that's opposed, well, you can stay on. It's okay.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thank you.
all.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.